So if you recall, at our last meeting, just 2 weeks ago, it was March 2nd. And the main topic of attention grabbing that night was the Washington College incident. And we had an overflow crowd on the second floor, about 130 people. And at that time, there were no known cases of coronavirus in the state of Maryland, as far as anybody knew. That's how quickly this has changed. And everybody that we had talked to said that if you were in Maryland, you were in a very low-risk area to catch this virus. I don't think anybody even mentioned the coronavirus at that meeting, and it was not a short meeting. Am I correct?
You're right.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Nobody said around.
So fast forward from that Monday to Thursday, March 5th, that's when the first case of coronavirus was reported in the state of Maryland in Montgomery County. The next night was, a week from this past Friday, was March 6th. We had a normal first Friday in Chestertown. I was walking around. I hung out at an art gallery. I went and had tapas at the winery there on Cannon Street. It was a great night, and again, nobody was even really talking about this. That was barely over a week ago, and things were still basically kind of normal. And then this past week, actually on Wednesday, I think to me the tipping point was when Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz tested positive for coronavirus before an NBA game. And the NBA ended up canceling the game, and then the next day canceled their season, which then set a domino effect, which ultimately led to really every major sports league in America canceling their season indefinitely. On March 12th, that same day, is when Governor Hogan announced that all Maryland schools are closed for 2 weeks, and he forbid gatherings of 250 plus people. Friday, just this past Friday, March Madness was canceled and all college sporting events for the spring, all throughout the NCAA. And then just today, Governor Hogan announced the closing of all bars and restaurants in Maryland, banning all gatherings of 50 people. And then at 4 o'clock today, the federal government advised against gatherings of 10 or more people. So I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that this last week has been the most unusual and unprecedented week, probably in the history of Chestertown, probably in the history of Kent County, probably in the history of the United States, and you could probably say it's one of the most unusual weeks in the history of the modern world as we know it. Would that be an exaggeration to you, David?
Sounds right on.
So, this is definitely a concerning issue, and one of the reasons we haven't really reacted to this is because there's 2 weeks between meetings, and usually that's plenty of time in Chestertown to gather, usually 1 or 2 kind of moderately important things happen. This was a cascading event, and it's weird for me as mayor because I can't make unilateral decisions. 3 of us have to agree to anything, so it was tough to govern really because I can't do that before this, and that's why this meeting is so bizarre, because we basically made the decision after the 4 o'clock press conference that we couldn't let the public in, because usually the crowd looks like this, but sometimes we have 40 people in here, and we'd be violating the CDC regulations that just went out 3.5 hours ago. So I apologize to anybody that wanted to come that got turned away, but that's why we did that.